What is up, all of my beautiful YouTube family? Welcome back to the Bad LSX Garage YouTube channel. In last week's video, we tried to install a sub and amp in my 2018 Silverado and failed miserably. But in today's video, we're going to install a full console and hopefully succeed and win. Stick around, stay tuned, and let's roll that beautiful beam footage. Get in the car like this and smile, there's something wrong with you. What is up? What is happening, all of my beautiful YouTube family? Again, welcome back to the Bad LSX Garage YouTube channel. I'm glad each and every one of you decided to stop back by again this week to see what kind of debacle we're going to run into. And hopefully none, fingers crossed that is. As you can see behind me, we have a full center console, and today we're going to install this in my 2018 regular cab short bed Silverado. Now this is not something that comes in typically short bed Silverados, and probably most of your four-door Silverados doesn't come with this either. In fact, they come with a full seat, or with a jump seat in the middle, I should say, so you could sit 3 people. You could fold the seat down and it has drink holders, and it also has a little small console, but it's nothing like what this is. And I enjoy this way more. I think it looks cleaner, so we're going to install this instead. This center console, I believe, came out of a 2018 Denali. Most of your Denalis and your LTZs came factory with a full center console, and everybody's got to where they like to switch from their jump seat to a center console. I mean, there's a few people that like to go the opposite way, but most of the time this is in demand. And when something's in demand, the price goes through the roof. About 4 years ago, these were around $300, $375. If you could find one for $375 now, you better jerk somebody's arm off, because they're anywhere from $500 to $1,200 all day long on eBay, Marketplace, and most of your junkyards. I picked this one up for a smoking deal. It was dirty, I cleaned it up real well. It has some little bit of imperfections, but you're not gonna see that once your seats are sitting in here anyway. That's just where the seatbelt rubs up against it regardless. They're pretty much all gonna have that anyway. But in today's video, I am gonna install this in my Silverado, but I wanted to bring you guys along because I see a lot of videos out there, but nobody really explains how to hook up the wiring harnesses and what wiring harnesses you need, the part numbers, and so on and so forth. So in today's video, that's exactly what we're gonna do. If you watched last week's debacle, you already know why my seats are out. Do you have to take your seats out? Well, it just all depends. Do you have an extended cab? If you got the extended cab version, then the passenger side seat should just suffice. Take it out and stick it out of the way somewhere. If you have a regular cab, then yeah, you probably need to take both out. It's going to give you the room you need to be able to take this jump seat out and to put the console in its place without trying to contort and move directions that your body's not meant to go. And in order to get this jump seat out, you need a 15mm, take out 4 bolts, and a T50 to remove the seatbelt bracket. Once you have those bolts removed, come over here to the passenger side, and usually there's a little place cut in the carpet, and right here will be 2 wiring harnesses that you need to unclip. Unclip both of these, and then your jump seat is ready to be pulled out. In order to get it loose, you need to unlock it with the little red tab. This right here is a push button. Push it, and then pull it out to remove it. And the same with this one. This one has a lock tab right here, and it needs to be pushed that way. So pull it that way, push this little piece down, and then pull, and then it comes out like that. Now remove your jump seat. Now that the jump seat's removed, you can do a little bit of spring cleaning. You know, find those French fries you lost 2 or 3 weeks ago, spare change, whatever else. But after you're done cleaning, now it's time to get back to work. We need to get rid of this whole section right here, which is the ashtray, your cigarette lighter, and your 12-volt system. I believe there's 3 bolts that hold this section in. I'll let you know for sure But once you pull all of this out, then you need to remove the plugs that's on the back of your cigarette lighter and your 12 volt, because you will reuse those on your center console. There's a little trim piece on your driver's side right here at the floor, right by where your gas pedal's at. Remove that, because when you put your console in here, your new trim piece that goes to the console will not fit until you remove that. So just go ahead and get it out of the way now. When you're putting a full console in like this, obviously you lose a lot of features if you don't get the proper wiring harness. I did get the proper wiring harness, and we'll go through all that later. If you're just wanting to use these, you can do that as well and work that way. But since I am doing it the correct way, I'm gonna have to remove this glove box to get to the HMI box itself in order to route the cables. So in order to do this, in order to remove the glove box, there's 6 bolts total. There's 2 here at the top, 2 on each side, and 2 at the bottom. Once you remove those 6 bolts, you can pull the bottom console out first, or bottom glove box out first, and then pull the top one out next. Be careful when you pull this top one out though. You got to pull from the bottom and then pull down, because there are clips up here at the top, and obviously when you put this back together, you want everything to fit the way it should. If you break those clips, it's not going to. I've done a lot of research, not only in the past when I had my 2016 Silverado, but now with this current 2018 model. And apparently there's a lot of difference even between 14 to 18. You wouldn't think there would be that many changes, but there absolutely are. Now, these cords I've had for a while. I had these back when I had my 2016, because I obviously did the console conversion on it as well. So I picked up an extra set. These are what normally goes from under your glove box here to your HMI and runs down and around and plugs in like a factory unit, makes it look all factory for your 2016 Silverados. But however, this truck particularly does not have the HMI box right here underneath the glove box. So I was like, uh-oh. Well, good enough that I done the research, because I knew that I needed this. And I will put the part number up on the screen for these. I got them from Amazon, get 2 of them. You will have to do a little bit of modification to them, because they are a little bit fat at the end, and you need to trim them down so they'll fit in the proper slots the way they need to. And all this does is plug in the current location that we unplugged our jump seat from, or at least one of the locations. It goes in the wiring harness, and then it plugs into your console. And then you need the other one as a jumper. And I'll show you all this here shortly. I'm just kind of explaining what's going on. You also need a main wiring harness, which runs the light on the inside, the charger up top, if you have that, the lid charger, and all the other stuff that this console has. You can get this from 40 bucks on up to 180 bucks. The first time I done this, I paid the full price. I paid the 180 bucks, 160, but whatever it was. This time I thought, no, I'm gonna go the cheap way. Got on Amazon once again, put the part numbers up here, and I purchased this for, I believe, 49 or 59 bucks. Same thing, looks the same, gonna do the same thing, just a whole lot cheaper. Take your main wiring harness that you got from whomever, whether it's the high dollar or the low dollar, come back to this original spot where you unplugged your jump seat. Plug that right in and lock it into place. Next, take your HMI cord that you've just modified and just plug it right into the spot next to it. Just like that. Now, if you want to put tape on it or something like that, just to kind of make sure that it's secure, that's totally up to you. I'm just going to leave it probably the way it is, and I'm going to run the wires up and under the console. I have to apologize. I've told you guys some wrong things. The research that I have done apparently was wrong as well. So I've passed on bad information, and with a lot of time, I've figured out what needs to happen. So I'm going to pass it on the correct way to you guys. When I told you earlier that you did not need one of those General Motors plugs, or neither one of those, I was wrong. You do need one of them. You need the brown to black, and I'll put the part number up right here. You only need one of those HMI cables, not 2, 1. And I'll also put the part number of that right here as well. Now, the configuration is like this. So obviously on the passenger side, the truck, we plugged the wiring harness in and that black HMI cable on this side, ran it underneath the console, and it comes out here. Now on that main wiring harness, there's 3 plugs. One is the big main plug that plugs to the console, and there's 2 others. One goes to the 12 volt, or one goes to the cigarette lighter, and one gives a hot to this USB. So in other words, here's your big plug. It plugs into the console. You have a big, or not a big, but it's a flat little black plug right here that plugs into your USB. And then you have the plug right here that goes into your cigarette lighter. Now the next part is where it got a little tricky. Your black cord from your HMI that we ran underneath here, it goes right here. It goes actually to the right hand side of your USB port, which would be right here on this one. And then you need your General Motors part number right here, cord, that connects brown to brown right here. Run the brown to here, the brown to that, brown on the console, and then it comes to black over here, and it runs to the very left hand side of the USB port here. I just wanted to pass on the correct information just in case that maybe you guys run up on something like this, that at least you will know how to get everything working the way it should. So let's show you that everything works. We can turn on the key. Let's turn this down so we don't get a copyright. Obviously we have the charging pad up here on the lid. You can lay your phone up there like that, and within a few seconds it should light up. It says charged, or charging I should say. So we know that works. So now let's go to Apple CarPlay. We want to get directions. We want to go somewhere. We're going to plug into this first port right here, and we're going to plug in our phone. Apple CarPlay pulls right up. I have all my music, Apple CarPlay, everything that we need. Okay, the second one, the second USB, let's just use it for a charging port. That's exactly what we have. Now, obviously, I don't have a cigarette lighter available, but they do work. I mean, why would I lie about that? They obviously are going to work. This one actually was from the truck, and so was this one itself. But if we have to, I'll show you that it works as well. Everything is working as it should. You can open up the console lid, and as you can see, the light is working. So the hole inside, if you need to see, is lit up. This first top port you can plug in. You also have another charging port. That could be for your passenger or for whatever. Now the next one, or the bottom one, is for your USB stick. This particular truck does have a way that you can show pictures and your videos and stuff like that. So we can plug the USB stick in, and it also pulls that up as well. So now we have our logo up here. How does that saying go? Never buy more than what you truly need. Well, I was lucky in this situation. I already had the wires from a previous build, so I didn't have to go buy anything extra. Unfortunately, there may be some of you out there who's in the situation that I was just in, but may not have what you need. Well, right now, up on the screen, I'm going to put everything that I had for wires. Everything. Not what is used right now, but everything that I had. That way you know personally, I can pick all this stuff up. This is how much it's going to cost, and I am going to more than likely use 50% of this. You can send the others back. You're going to get your money back. Or here's what I did use today, and you can go that route. But here's the thing. You don't know what your truck is going to specifically need, and I'm not 100% sure how to tell you. Now, there are guys on the internet, and there's guys out there that can tell you, but you have to buy their wiring harnesses and you have to buy stuff from them before you can get the information. And look, I'm not about that. You do you. I'm not mad at you. I ain't, you know, but I just don't necessarily agree with that sort of mentality. So I'm just going to leave this here, and you can do with it what you want. I would rather have what I need than to need it and not have it, if that makes any sense. I love you, fam, but as you can see, I've got a huge mess here that I got to get cleaned up. It's time to get cleaned up, washed up, go get a bite to eat, and say hello to mama. Until next week, fam, I love each and every one of you. If you enjoyed this video, go down there and give old dad a big thumbs up. And also, if you haven't yet and you've been watching a couple of videos, go down there and maybe think about hitting that subscribe button. But until next week, fam, I love you. Once again, are you ready? Let's do this. Peace. I'm out.